I'm Dónal Munnelly. I'm the Security Propositions Manager in BT Ireland. I look after all the managed services propositions from a security point of view. I think in the next 12 months, probably the biggest challenges, no surprise, are ransomware and phishing. They're some of the biggest challenges we're seeing. You know, companies in the financial sector specifically, very exposed to phishing. And ransomware is prevalent across a lot of our customer base, including across personal customers also, something they need to look out for. We've seen big attacks in unusual areas, I think it's fair to say, in the past couple of years. Some of the bigger attacks worldwide: Colonial Pipeline, the oil and petroleum company, JBL Meatpackers in Australia. They had a really profound effect on actual humans, on people. It wasn't just these multinationals getting hit. You saw people queuing at petrol stations. You saw beef shortages in parts of the world because of these. So we're seeing a real day-to-day impact, I think, on cyber attacks, which previously probably went unnoticed. Big companies getting hit. This is having a profound impact on day-to-day people. What we say at BT is training that human firewall. So, having people think, pause and protect, I suppose, is the three keywords we would use. So if you get an email, if you get something that you're not expecting, sometimes even if you're getting something that you are expecting, have a look at it and think about it. There's lots of different emails that come in that look very real. They may have a sense of urgency about them. They may be enticing you to click on a link, or they may be enticing you to reply to them in some way. Having that moment's pause and just thinking about the action you're about to take on that email is really important in terms of the protection for the organization. I suppose in conjunction with that then, as a follow-up, if someone does report something, so if you get an email that you feel is a bit strange or unusual, and you report it, it's important for organizations to recognize the fact that you've reported it, because it really reinforces the fact that people are doing the right thing. They have captured something. Here at BT, we use a phrase called security heroes. So when you report something and it turns out to be true, you get an email followed up that kind of, gives you a little pat on the back, I suppose, in terms of, you've done the right thing. Basic cybersecurity in its nature, we've seen a lot of hygiene factors that sometimes get missed in different places. Some basic things like, multi-factor authentication for users, a very kind of simple security layer that, adds on a second layer of confirmation that you are who you say you are. Insider threat has probably accounted for about 35% of attacks in the past year. So, having your user's identity confirmed as they have access to your systems, whether that be a cloud-based system or an on-premise system, an MFA, simple phone number, text, SMS, or an authentication app, it's a really simple way to make sure that your identity isn't compromised and the person using the system is who they say they are. Some of the other things we see are security policies that don't get reviewed. So if we take something like your firewall estate, how often are you reviewing your firewall policies? How often are you looking at the rules that you've set up or added to during the year to make sure that they're still fit for your purpose, for your business, to protect your business and to protect your users? There's a company responsibility there to have some basics in place. In terms of users then, it's really about awareness. It's really about understanding how their actions can contribute to the posture of the security of the overall organization. As we've seen with some of the bigger attacks this year, security is not just the responsibility of the security guys or the IT guys. It's really everybody's business. As Irish citizens, we've seen a big impact on our own security this year. And we've all seen the phone calls, the texts, those type of activities that hackers do to try and get our data. And from that, we should have a certain level of skepticism and a certain level of awareness in terms of how we interact with technology. So in terms of the human aspect, it's important to understand how easy it is to entice people to click something. One of the previous companies I worked at, the phishing trials, so the trials that they would send to inbound staff to see if they would click links. One of the guys used to go around and actually look at the insurance details on the car, and he would send you a link from your own insurance company. A very simple piece of information that he'd gleaned, but would enable you to click on the link. If you clicked on the link, then you were kind of enabled for mandatory training for phishing. So testing your staff and testing the awareness of staff is a very important factor in that defense as well.